Namaste everyone. Thank you and welcome to this video. Great minds, great quotes. I hope you have watched some of the previous ones on this series. This one deals with the topic conflict. And the first quote I'm going to present is by Michael Naimi, Naimy, Naimi. Yours is a world divided against itself because the I in you is divided. Yours is a world divided against itself because the I in you is divided. Now this is a very poignant quotation. It has a vast scope which I may not be able to explain fully in this video, but I will present some aspects that I understand and I can easily explain. First of all, yours is a world divided against itself. As you look around, there are lots of forces working concurrently and often counterproductively. That is, one system of policy priority is trying to accomplish this, another system has come up that is moving in the opposite direction. On one hand, there is a lot of discussion, policies, programs to save the environment. On the other hand, many of us are consuming and wasting and destroying the environment, working in opposite direction. May not be intentionally, but actions without priority, without thinking, without planning, and casual, careless attitude. That okay, this is not my problem, I haven't created it, everybody's created it and everybody should take care of it. Or if we can't do it, future generations will be responsible and they will come up with the solution. They're passing the buck. On one hand, we want to promote, protect human rights, establish a humane nature in society. On the other hand, there is exploitation, depravity, poverty, misuse of children, trafficking, totally opposite actions, coexisting. On one hand, we want to establish technologies that are helping humanity. Of course, many are. There is communication, there is technology to simplify repeated and boring jobs, technology to promote health in medical field, in transportation, in travel, in computing, in many fields, wonderful technologies. On the other hand, the same technologies are being used to capture mind in society, manipulate them, misinform them. There are great deal of scams and phishing and hacking technologies making life difficult. two totally opposite aspects. And some technologies are developed because somebody wants to promote the technology. If it is needed or not, doesn't matter, but it must be used. So they are promoted in a very subtle ways, and we don't even know what is happening. Technology can be misused also. A lot of technologies are developed and marketed without really assessing the impact on society, on individuals. I can go on and on, but you get the gist that in many fields there are opposite forces acting. The world is divided. Some is trying to do this, some are trying to do the opposite. Some are trying to work hard, produce things, satisfy demand, make money, which is absolutely fine. Some are motivated strictly by profit at any cost, and doesn't matter if it is good for people or not. So these are some of the hints. Now why this is happening is the second part of the sentence. Yours is a world divided against itself because the I in you is divided. Now at individual level, of course, we live in a very hyperactive, unrestful, restless society. It has various signals affecting us all the time, from screen, from speeches, from publications, from media and all that, that we have not managed to develop a cohesive, coherent approach, thought patterns that are conducive to growth and development and in the interest of civilization, present society and future societies. Sometimes we are incentivized to do the negative. Sometimes we are encouraged to do the positive. Our thoughts are in conflict with each other. We are often restless, confused, tense, stressed, and even depressed. So with this kind of mental turmoil, mental fragmentation is dividing us, tearing us apart inside. And individually and collectively, when we move in the outside world, we tend to behave in the same way. So for a cohesive, friendly, compassionate, visionary society, we also need those qualities in ourselves. Because in effect, what we do outside, what we perceive in the outside world, is a reflection of our inner being. So both need to be harmonized. Maybe a long explanation, but I couldn't help it. Wonderful. Here is another one from Bertrand Russell, great philosopher, which is, this quotation is kind of reflection of the first one that I pointed out with some comments. The happy man is the man who is neither against himself nor pitted against the world. Because being internally divided and confronting the world which is divided is not a happy situation for the individual or for society. And sometimes not only inner divisions, but individuals are pitted against a larger group. You want the larger groups to behave in such a way, you think they are doing something you don't like, and you are into a conflict. So you are have internal conflict and external conflict. Not a very happy situation. Let's work together, think together, and try to change it. Mahatma Gandhi, his quote, also reflecting some of the things I mentioned earlier. The still small voice within you must always be the final arbiter when there is a conflict of duty. So how to resolve inner conflict? So Gandhiji has dealt himself with this in his life, and he taught wonderful lessons through his practices, experiences and writing. We may not agree with everything, but it's worth considering. His quote is wonderful. The still and small voice within you must always be the final arbiter when there is a conflict of duty. Here is another one on dealing with conflict from Osho. Change happens when you start dropping the conflict with existence. That is the only meaning of all the great religions when they emphasize drop the ego. They are saying drop the conflict. So he's kind of juxtaposing two ideas, ego and conflict. Now, why ego could be a cause for conflict? First of all, ego is not your true self. Ego is an image of yourself that you have created. The description, I am this, I am that, I have these qualities, I'm very intelligent, I'm good looking, I'm very powerful, I have pride, I have good qualities, various roles I play, the positions I hold. That whole is a structure that you have created, and you identify with that. That is me. It's actually you have created that me, that I. So that I often gets humiliated, insulted, hurt, ignored, insulted, and you feel bad about it. You feel that somebody has damaged my image. You work for reputation. You want to promote your status, your stature. So, creating the ego, protecting the ego, identifying with the ego is a main reason why we end up in a conflict, not only with ourselves, but with the outside world, is the ego. And because ego is essentially based on ignorance of your true self, so ignorance is the cause of all problems in the world. That's one of my favorite topics. I will probably come back to you on another video and talk about how ignorance is the cause of all suffering, all conflict, all health problems, and all unhappiness. Thank you for listening. See you again.